Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a 2025 reflection and set some goals for 2026. Now, if you've watched one of my first videos, I did actually do a bit of a goal setting task in that, but we're going to be doing one for a full year today, so very exciting. And I do just want to say that if you haven't achieved all of the things that you set out to achieve in 2025, you have not failed. There will be a reason why that hasn't happened, and we're going to delve into that a little bit more in today's video. So first things first is actually looking back at the goals that you set in 2025. And I know if you feel like maybe you've not had the best year, it can be quite triggering sometimes to look back at the goals. But in order to learn, to improve, to understand why you maybe didn't achieve the goals that you set out, we first need to look back and go, okay, well, what did I actually set out for myself this year? So please get a notepad and pen, or even just like having a look on your phone, notes app, just write down on there, like, what did I actually want to achieve in 2025? And then obviously the follow-up question to that is, why didn't I? And be brutally honest with yourself. So if your goal was to run 10k, why did you not actually end up doing that? Like, did you do any running at all? Was you injured? You know, did, I don't know, you find an interest for something else? Like, you know, and decide actually running wasn't for you, or, you know, try one run and go, actually I really didn't enjoy this, or, you know, you tried one run and you got injured. Like, what was the reason why that didn't happen? And just remove the emotion from it and actually look at the facts of the situation. You didn't actually try running, that's why you didn't end up running 10k, or you kept putting it off, or you realise that you actually just don't really enjoy running, and again, that's completely fine. If you feel like there's just a goal and you're not really sure why you didn't achieve it, but it is something that you do want, because again, another thing might be that you set a goal, but when you actually like reflected on it, you didn't actually want that, like, and again, that's completely fine. But what we're going to do now is assess and basically break down where we want to be by the end of 2026, but also break it down into practical actions. Like, it's all well and good saying, I want to have lost X amount of weight, I want to have run 10k, but what is the actual steps and actions that we need to be taking on a weekly, monthly and quarterly basis for us to get where we actually want to be? Again, as I've said, completely fine if you've not achieved your goals, but rather than sitting and making yourself feel shit about it, it's about actually coming up with actionable steps and learning from either mistakes or reasons why, and putting that into your 2026. So the first thing that we're going to do, and again, if you've done any goal setting with me before, is writing down on the 31st of December 2026 I have achieved. And then I want you to write for at least 10 to 15 minutes of everything you want to achieve, but I want it to be specific. So things like, so for instance, like my goal was to be buying a house. Obviously this year we're in the process of buying, but it might be something like, I'm sat in my conservatory with my coffee and I'm journaling and I'm getting ready for the day and I'm doing this job, and in this job I'm doing this, or I'm, you know, getting up in the morning and going straight to the gym and I'm doing this, and I'm like lifting this weight. And like, be super specific about it. Don't just be like, I want to have lost 3 stone, because yeah, okay, you might want to lose 3 stone, but what does that person's life who has lost 3 stone actually look like on a day-to-day basis? Okay, what is she wearing, what is she saying, what is she doing, what job does she work in? Like, be very specific, and specific about your surroundings, just about genuinely everything. And I know that can feel quite overwhelming, but I don't just want us to be setting goals fitness wise, and in a minute when you've done that, we are going to come back and we're going to split them into 3 different categories. So once you have done that, again, set a 15-minute timer, write. And if you're finding that you are stopping and don't know what to write, just keep writing. When I did this task, it didn't even make sense what I was writing, but I was just getting everything out on paper, and giving yourself that time to really just keep writing is where you will start to get that true sense of what it is that you want to be achieving in 2026. So now we've got that year goal, I want you to pick out 2 to 3 of the most important things, because there will be loads of things that you want to achieve, and I'm not saying, you know, don't focus on those, don't bring attention to those, but sometimes when you have such a big amount of things that you want to achieve, it can be quite overwhelming when it comes to, you know, taking everything off at once. So 2 to 3, and the categories that I always do with clients are Thrive, which is mindset related, Transform, which is fitness related, so whether that's weight loss, whether that's running 10k, whatever it is, and then Together, which is a life, so anything outside of fitness basically. It might be that you want to go on holiday, it might be that you want to buy a house, it might be that you want a new job, whatever that is. And when we do this next task, I want one for each basically. So if your goal for a year is to run a 10k, you're going to write, in 6 months time, in order for me to achieve my 1 year goal, I am going to, and obviously running a 10k would be my Transform goal. So in 6 months time I've run 5k, or I've done a 5k race, or something along those lines, which is basically the halfway point of me running 10k. My Together goal might be that I want to go on holiday and wear a bikini, but I want to feel confident. I don't want to be covering myself up. So in 6 months time, I may be wearing a bodycon dress and something a little bit more form like hugging, and feeling confident doing that. Okay, so, and the Together again might be buying a house, whatever that is for you, but split them up into those 3 things and say like, okay, this is my 1 year goal, what would be the halfway mark basically. And then once we've got the 6 month one, we're going to break it down into 3 months. So in order for me to achieve my 6 month goal in 3 months, I am going to, so again, from a running perspective, you may have ran 2.5k. Okay, from a mindset perspective, you may be you know, wearing a top that shows off your arms, or wearing a top that shows off your stomach a little bit more, or, you know, whatever that is. And I know, again, you're probably thinking, well, isn't that just a physical thing, not a mindset? But if you are doing it and then you find that you're still speaking to yourself like shit, that's when you need to work on the mindset. But again, the more you do it, the more evidence you build, the more confidence is going to be there, which is why when we do the 1 month one, the 1 month one's actually going to be you reframing any negative thoughts that are coming up for yourself. Now, if you are somebody that struggles doing it 1 year, 6 months, 3 months and 1 month, do it the opposite way. So say, okay, well, in 1 month I'm going to achieve this, in 3 months I'm going to achieve this, and do it that way. I think sometimes that can be a little bit easier, because again, once we've done the 1 month, we're going to break it into 2 weeks. So again, from the mindset side of things, in order for me to achieve my 1 month goal in 2 weeks, I'm going to be calling myself out on negative self-talk, okay? And the 1 month one would be, I'm going to reframe it. So that's what I think. And again, with running, it might be in 1 month you've done your first run outside, or you've done your first run on the treadmill. 2 weeks might be, I've found the running shoes that I want, I've got a plan together. And the 1 week one might be, I'm literally researching, or I'm getting a coach to help me with it, or whatever it is in your first week. Same with the mindset, it might literally be just noticing how you actually speak to yourself. I think a lot of the time we don't actually realise how unkind we can be to ourselves. So basically we're just breaking it down so that at the end of week 1 you're starting to notice, okay, I don't really speak to myself very nicely about this situation, and I've done a little bit of research, and I need to go and get this shoe, and I need to go and do this, or invest in something else, or just do a bit more research around it in order for me to achieve that 1 year goal of 10k. Same with the 1 month. And obviously the reason why you might decide to break like 1 month into 2 months, and every month break down the goals, and that's completely fine. But I think doing it like this first is the best thing you can do, and then after that first month is assessing what went well, what didn't go well, and if I want to achieve the 3 month goal, what am I going to achieve in 2 months? Because I think sometimes you aren't fully aware of what's going to happen, of what ball curves are going to come in, and what's going to, you know, potentially stop you from doing that. And obviously that's when we can adjust and do things going into the next month. But this is what we do with clients every month. We say what went well, what didn't go well, because again, don't expect clients to be perfect, and what would actually make this next month feel like a win, and what would make us feel like we are actually progressing towards that end goal. So yeah, I hope you found this video helpful. I know it's been more of a short one today, but I thought it would be good to just talk you through setting some goals, reflecting on 2025, and most importantly, just understanding that you not achieving a goal does not mean that you have failed. It just means that we need to learn from it. We need to, again, just assess things a little bit more and put a more detailed plan in place and something that's actually manageable so that you can tick it off. So thank you so much for supporting my YouTube channel that I started way back in summer. I think it was summer, yeah, for this year. I have absolutely loved doing it. I cannot wait for 2026. Please make sure to like and subscribe to see more of my videos, and I hope you had a lovely Christmas and a happy new year.